What's up, friends? Welcome to the party. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, welcome to Boss Babes. I'm so happy you are here. I know it's so weird. I can't see your faces, but I'm so happy to be here on this platform tonight. I'm really excited to do our Boss Babe series actually through this YouTube setting. I think it's going to be super exciting. So I really want you guys, as we go tonight, hey Donna, hey Rita, hey Jessica, hey Kawana, I haven't said hey to y'all yet. Hey Nikki, just welcome to the show. Tonight is going to be so awesome. And I'm really looking forward to a breakthrough season. So I've told my national area for a little while now, we are in the middle of a move of God. How many of y'all can say yes, yes, and yes? We left Jumpstart this weekend, committed, honestly, to this exceedingly and abundantly more in 2024. And you guys, that is our mantra. That is where we're living. That is where we are playing ball and showing up. And I'm so excited. So I want to make sure before we get going anywhere that you guys know who I am. I'm National Sales Director Holly Lowe, and you're going to hear my story through this process as we actually go through Boss Babes. I'm one of the featured speakers on one of the weeks, and we have a 7-week program ready to rock and roll for you. So I printed our Boss Babes Be a Risk Taker booklet, and I hope that you have done the same. Your director has access to the PDF. We've tried to post it and send it and share it and all the things, right? And so are you ready for a breakthrough? That's the question, because you guys, you are one decision away, backed by action, of literally having a new projected track, a new literal, like the entire trajectory of your life can change when you make a new decision and it is backed by action. Because we can decide one thing, but until we move, right? Until we move, that is when that trajectory literally, it changes fast. What's a boss babe? What is a boss babe? She is confident, ambitious woman who takes charge of her life and career with a strong sense of empowerment, meaning she feels empowered to what? Change the course of her life, to what? Build a life she loves, to do what? To be who she knows she's called to be, right? Yes. What is a risk taker? A risk taker, y'all, is someone who is willing to venture into uncertain situations. Hear me, scary maybe. Venture into uncertain situations, then embrace the challenges and opportunities, both with courage and potential for significant rewards. That's what risk is. Had a director say to me today, thank you so much, Laura, that risk, what? Risk is seen as negative. You guys, when you're willing to take a risk, lay down the gauntlet, willing to step out, the basis of that comes from courage. And Joshua 1:9 speaks all about courage. We have to be strong and courageous. We have to be brave, right? Fear is not from our maker. Fear is from the enemy. So beware. Beware. This week, 7 national sales directors, 2 of them, actually we have 8, but 2 of them are going to take y'all on tonight. And I'm so excited for y'all to meet them and their men. And I just want to challenge you. Before you jump in, you got a decision to make. Are you ready? Will you just listen to the stories and be inspired? and take a risk in your business? Or will you just be entertained? Are you just here for entertainment? Or are you willing to be inspired and be willing to take risks in your own business? That's what this is all about. It's making the changes necessary to lay it down and go chase down your God-given dream, life, destiny. Yes? Anyone ready for that? Yes? Let me tell you real quick about this program. Okay, so these are your mentors, our mentors for this series: Heidi Gelzer, Katrina Harris Earl. What? These are my girlfriends, they're my homies. Ari Hathaway, Kim McClure, Karen Ridle, Laura McKeever, and National Sales Director, Senior National Lene Tate. Okay, y'all. Every Sunday, you're going to send in your reco. Okay, every Sunday, you're going to be a tracker girl. Y'all, you're going to track your stuff. It's in your notebook. Okay, your Google form for my area, your Google form, guess what? It's in boards. Guess where this PDF is? It's in boards. All right, so I want you to watch this tonight. I want you to take notes. I want you to blow me up in the chat. And as we go, I want you to look at week 1 in your PDF as we go. Here's what it's going to ask you, and I'm going to turn the video on and we're going to get started. Take notes on her story. Just jot down some notes as she's talking. Put them in the chat. Take some notes as we go. The second thing she asks is, what was her why for taking a risk? Y'all, most of the time we have to have a reason before we just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to take a risk and have courage and be strong today and do something that scares the crap out of me, right? What in the world? Like most of us, we're not living in that place, okay? So some of you are asking, where do I get this information? Ask your sales director. Your director has this packet. Your director has your Google form for you to get your recognition. I'm going to recognize the top 10 boss babes in points every week on this event. So turn them in. They are due Sunday by midnight. If you are late, my assistant in Arizona, I think that's where she lives. I don't even know where she lives. That's terrible. She handles Reco. So when you tell me I forgot, guess what I'm going to say? I'm so sorry. She doesn't care if you forget. Okay. Set an alarm to turn it in. Okay. Attend your success meeting, do faces, hold a party, share, get a booking, share the opportunity, sign a new team member. You're going to get points, bukus of points for all of these things. And we want you to turn them in because we want to celebrate you. Next thing, what'd she learn? Y'all, you always learn when you take a risk. Always, every single time. What changed in her business? Because she did. Wow, that's big, right? You think about that. What changes because you're willing to do something that takes courage and strength, right? And then last, how does her story inspire you? And then what's your biggest takeaway? All right, so here we go. Are y'all ready? So tonight we are hearing from some of my faves, and these are 2 national sales directors. Let me add me back here. Okay. So this is National Sales Director Kim McClure and her husband, Bob, along with Karen Ridle and her husband, Chuck. All right, friends, let's rock and roll and get the party started. Here we go.
Babe 2024, be a risk taker. We are ready to kick it off in a big way tonight with Chuck and I, and with some of our fabulous friends, National Sales Director Kim McClure and her husband, Bob McClure. Oh, we're going to talk all things about getting out of the safe zone and into the faith zone when you take a risk. Tonight is kicking off our entire season of Boss Babe for the kickoff to the new year. And we just want to talk about what happens when you take a risk. How does it stretch you? How does it grow you? And how does it impact your business? So tonight, I hope as you're listening to Kim's stories, my stories, to Bob and to Chuck, as they're sharing about their response to our taking a risk, I hope that you will find your risk and that you will step out on faith and leave the safe zone and get into the faith zone. Oh, that's where God moves in a big, huge way. And I can't wait to see what happens in your story. So Kim, start us out, my friend. Thanks for being on. What are some of your stories about taking a risk as a consultant?
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for asking us to talk. I think I have two stories, and both are related to making Mary Kay our full-time income. And so my first story was when I was quitting my job, and I had put aside like a nest egg of money that I had been building from the profits from my sales and from my team building commissions. So I had a little cushion for me, but I was scared when came time to turn in my resignation, and I'm like, what if, right? And so I said to Bob, I said, I'm so scared. And he said something very profound to me. He said, Kim, if you're not scared, you're not growing.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I mean, how many times have we heard, when you're talking to people, so what's new? And they go, nothing, same old, same old. That's the safe zone, right? And the safe zone is boring. And so I always remember whenever I'm a little fearful of taking a step forward, that I'm growing. That's what I tell myself. It's not that I'm scared, I'm growing. And so that has a whole positive connotation to me. And it makes me feel like strong and a champion. And so I used that again as I was finishing DIQ. And back in the day when I finished DIQ, it was like the dark ages. Agreements had to be in 48 hours before the month closed online, or they had to be hand delivered to the distribution center. I live in Pittsburgh. The distribution center then was New Jersey. And so with 3 days left in the month, I still needed 9 new agreements. And I tapped what I thought was everything. And so I stepped out on faith. I bought an airplane ticket. I rented a car. Back then we didn't have MapQuest. We had to print out things from the computer, right? No GPS kind of stuff. And so I had never done any of that by myself at all. I'd flown by myself before, but I'd never rented a car or driven in a strange place all by myself, especially under a deadline, right? And so I went ahead and did all that. And then I went to work to make it happen because I'd already thrown my heart over the bar. I was going to make this happen no matter what. And I did. And it was such a victory feeling. It felt like Rocky the whole time, da-da-da, and crossing over. And just still such a victorious feeling that when I remember that, it encourages me still to keep on taking those steps to go into that faith zone.
I love that. I love that. Bob, what did you think about all that? I'm so curious.
We had a real trust relationship. So, it wasn't something that just came up. So we're both experiencing the business, both experiencing our own careers, talking about that stuff. So it wasn't as if, you open the door and all of a sudden there's something there you didn't expect. But the possibility of leaving one thing that had some assuredness to it to something that had less assuredness to it, risk, right?
Sure.
Was still a big thing, but it wasn't done blindly, right? And it was done with a lot of background and education, some experience, but there's still risk there. So that's where we were, and that's so it was a little different situation than falling off a cliff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. So Karen, how about for you? Tell us your story.
It's funny because our stories are a little similar. I had stepped away from Mary Kay for about 5 years from a bad divorce. And I made the decision to come back to Mary Kay to get me out of corporate America for good. So I knew when Chuck and I had just been married a little under a year when I made this decision. So he was completely behind me and knew that I was excited and committed and was working hard. And I remember that I turned in my notice. Back then, you typically did it within the 4 months. It was a 4-month kind of a schedule for DIQ. And I turned in my notice to be done 2 months early. Like I knew I was going to be finishing on December 31st, and that was it. That was my last day. And at that point, when I turned in my notice, we were not done. And then I remember as we got closer, I got more and more excited. For the risk for me, sure, it was a leap of faith. Sure, it was uncomfortable, but it was energizing to me to think that I was changing my life with this decision. And so we came down to the last week and we crossed the finish line. And one thing that I'm so grateful about now, of course, everyone has to make their own decisions about their own risks and what works for you. But I knew that God had called me to be a sales director in Mary Kay again and to do it full time. And I just wanted to eliminate all other options. And so I remember thinking, wow, I'm making pretty much 6 figures right now. And my husband's a teacher, and we're taking a leap of faith here. But I just knew I did not want anything tying me to safety, holding me back from my calling that I knew God had for me. And so I remember finishing up. Do you remember? It was New Year's Eve night. I came home from work, my last day at work. We were not done yet. I sat down at my desk. Chuck brought a grilled steak and a glass of wine, and we finished up qualification together as we welcomed in the new year. And I started out my life as a full-time Mary Kay sales director. And I always think to myself, I'm so grateful that we took that leap of faith, that risk, that getting into the faith zone, because then I just worked full force to build that unit. And wow, what a journey it's been. I'm so grateful I took that risk. How did you feel about it back then? We were newlyweds.
I was going to say we were clearly still on the honeymoon.
We were too.
Yeah,
We
right.
were too. Yeah.
Still are to this day.
Right.
I think it's a lot along the same lines of what Bob said. You know, we'd had conversations, we talked, but also I had seen what you had done, the efforts that you were putting in the small pockets of time. And we talk about we can work our Mary Kay in pockets of time. And I would see it and how God was rewarding it and the way he was blessing it.
Yeah.
That it really wasn't like a risk. Yes, it was a leap of faith, but faith without action is empty.
Yeah.
And so I really felt a peace about it all. It wasn't like there wasn't moments of trepidation, but for the most part, I'd seen what you'd done.
Yeah.
I'd seen, and I'm like thinking, well, this is just in like 10 or 15 hours a week. Now she's going to go 40 hours a week. Of course, my wife has never done anything for 40 hours. It is 60 to 70 hours a week, but she enjoys it. So she feels like she doesn't work at all. And that's what I think brought me the most joy, was just watching her work and knowing that this was going to make her at ease, which was just going to make her do even more and be even better. And it's been an amazing ride ever since. So, yeah.
Yeah, it really has. Well, and there's a lot of risks that every consultant who's watching this has taken risks in their life. They just didn't define it as a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about that. You had some different examples. I know that you had jotted down of some different things.
Well, it's no surprise. This is the emotional part of the relationship. I'm more the analytical part of the relationship.
Yeah, I love it.
That being said, so I asked myself, well, what's risk? We're talking about risk. And, if you go to the dictionaries or go on the web, it's simple terms. It's the possibility of something bad that's going to happen, right? It's the effect of uncertainty on an objective. Well, that sounds pretty ominous, right? It's like, oh my. But when you talk about it, let's look at the emotions around risk. And then the thing to ask yourself is, which of these emotions apply to me? Because they can be good and bad. And they'd include things such as fear, anxiety, not necessarily the good ones, excitement. Chuck just mentioned that there. Some confidence or maybe lack of confidence. It's on a scale. Hope, regret, stress, and maybe pride. And the pride part would be a pride of failure, right? Proud to fail, right? So those things are interesting. So you have to ask yourself, which of these emotions affect you most about risk? And specifically now about an Mary Kay career decision that you might have. And if we avoided all risk, we'd be nowhere. I mean, we'd literally be paralyzed, unable to do anything. Our parents, when they watched us begin to walk, knew it was a risk for us to walk. I knew for sure when Kim got her driver's license, her parents saw a risk in her trying to drive.
My nickname was Crash, you guys.
Flying, women having a baby, talk about risk.
Right. Yeah.
But what we have is, through all of those types of examples, and certainly the examples the girls have given us here, is that we have people who have taught us. We have our own self-experiences, some good, some bad, right? And in that process, we learn from those things. And in this career, what I learned from watching Kim and watching Karen and many of the other folks that we have relationships with, is none of us walk into any of these knowing exactly what to do.
True.
We have certain capabilities and we certainly have desires and needs, but in the end, we learn, and we learn from example, and we want to study. And with that, once we understand things, and this is the key risk, once we understand more about what we're going to look to do that's causing us to look at risk, or the definition of risk, the less risky it will be.
Yeah.
So that's the way to look at it. Look at the emotions that you think are instilled in you in this type of a decision as you go through various decisions in this type of a career or any career. And then go back and say, okay, what have I learned? What do I need to learn? Better yet, to deal with those uncertainties that I see.
Well, and there's the risk of not going forward.
Right.
Right.
Of course.
I mean, the risk of staying the same. Ugh.
Right.
Right.
It made me want to throw up thinking
or the
that
financial risk of not having what you might have.
right. Yeah, I didn't want to be on the hamster wheel of life. Like rinse, repeat, and then wait till you're 65 to try and retire, maybe 60, now 70, and then maybe live. And no, we want to live and enjoy and give and be able to serve and help other people. And this business gives us that freedom and flexibility too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when I look back to the decision I made, and I know you made to leave that full-time job, for me it was I'm ready to create a new life.
Yeah.
And my why is so big. And my why was freedom and flexibility. I wanted to be able to design my own life and to be there for my son and all through growing up. And now it's wonderful at this stage of my life with older parents. I love the freedom and flexibility. So the why was what fueled my desire to step out on faith and to take that risk. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
What a testimony.
Yep. I wanted to be home when I had a baby. I didn't want to have to have that child in daycare, or children. And I wanted to give him options in his career, because he worked so hard. And so holding on to the desire for the future and living in the vision, of where we wanted to be and playing that mind movie of what life would be like was so key in making those choices. And that pulled you over the finish line too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just go back to what Bob said about when he was talking about the definition, and really the two words that stuck out to me were fear and excitement. And if you allow the fear to take over, it's going to paralyze you.
Right.
If you let the excitement take over, it's going to give you activity. It's going to, and of course the activity is going to breed success, which is going to
confidence,
and that's going to breed confidence. So it's all a cycle either way.
Yeah.
It's just how you break. But I just think of that activity. I just go back to that activity, that action. Yeah. When you're taking that leap of faith.
But what do they always say, Kim? Inactivity breeds fear, right?
The dark room of negativity, right?
Yeah.
Just parking in those 6 inches up here in our brain,
Embrace that excitement.
Yeah.
Push the fear away. Just embrace the excitement.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't step out, right, for your future, your life will stay the same. Nothing changes, but it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you don't step out, if we didn't step out, all the people's lives that have been connected over the years, and we sit where we are, and consultants and directors are where they are because of the people who went before us.
Right.
Mary Kay Ash taking a risk and doing the things that people said couldn't be done. And so we stand on the shoulders of the giants who went before us. And so all of our lives are woven together in the design that God has for each and every one of us. And so if you as consultants don't take those steps forward, all the people that God has assigned to you, because he gave you the dream, right? Their lives can't be changed.
Yeah. Right.
And, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12, New Living Translation says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life.
I love it.
Yeah.
And how many times have I met people along our journey who say, oh, I wish I had done what you had done.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the hope deferred. It makes their heart sick.
Yeah.
So you don't always weigh that piece of it or realize that. So, go after those dreams because we serve a big God and he wants to give them to you.
Follow his prompting.
Absolutely. Oh, I am so excited. And the great thing about once you say yes to stepping out on faith, God opens the door to the next step. And so I hope that as you're listening to us tonight, maybe you're hearing what God is prompting in your heart, stirring you up. And I'm so glad that perhaps your man is here watching with us so that you guys can talk about that, pray about it together, and get excited about this new year and stepping out on faith to change your life and change many other lives.
For sure.
Lives of your families.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You guys, oh my gosh, are y'all so happy you showed up tonight? Oh my goodness. All right, so here we go. Questions. Y'all can blow me up, blow me up. What was your main takeaway? You listened, you sat, you watched these two couples who, y'all, if you ever think their marriages are perfect, they're not. If you ever think their kids are perfect, they're not. If you ever think their lives are perfect, they're not. But guess what? They communicated what they wanted and they allowed themselves to dream together. That's what this is about. Bring your man in so that y'all learn to speak the same language. I love that my husband comes to Mary Kay events with me. I love that he comes to seminar and fall retreat and leadership conference. Those are the events my man comes to because we speak the same language. And when we communicate and we grow together, we step into the dreams together. And guess what else? When we get scared, do you know what they're standing there doing? They got the pride, like, girl, this is my dream you're messing with. This is my dream you're messing with too. Like, you can't just walk away from you, because when you do that, you're walking away from us and what we decided. That's different. That's different. So if you look, what was her why for taking a risk? What was Karen's why? What was Kim's why? What was their why for taking a risk, you guys? What did they learn? Okay. And then what changed because they did look at their life on this side, because they were willing to do what they were fearful of, what felt scary, as he said, right? As Bob said. Okay. And then what is your biggest takeaway? Put it in the chat. You said, I heard inactivity in the dark room, design her life. Okay, she said, I'm amazed how the men nailed it. Future without action is empty. Inactivity breeds fear. How many times do we say that? Staying the same, look at this, and not growing or going, as Wanda said, but growing forward. How do y'all feel about the same? Are you good with the sameness this next year? I'm not. I do not want to be in the same place. Did you hear Kim say 65, 70? When we let our life happen and then we decide that we and our dreams and our futures are important then. That's what a lot of people do. And then a lot of times it's too late. So if you look at your risk this week, for some of you, risk feels like just picking up the phone because that feels scary, right? And so I want you to do some things that stretch you just a little bit. I want you to make a decision that you are willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because hear my heart, every success story feels the fear and does it anyway. So happy 2024 to all of you. Reminder, turn in your numbers. Okay, turn in your numbers, please. So we track our weeks in this world, kind of Sunday to Saturday. That's kind of how I've trained y'all to track your weeks, right? And so this past week so far, look at Sunday. How many new bookings did you get? How many faces have you done this week already? Give yourself all the points. And then by midnight, Sunday night for the past week, turn your numbers in so we can celebrate you. Success meeting is whatever your director does, whatever kind of training or event or whatever that your director does and hosts for you. That's what a success meeting is, okay? Some kind of training event per se, okay? All right, and then you guys, you're earning points for all of this. Remember, our top 10 points girls are gonna receive recognition next week. So make sure you turn it in. She does not accept responses Monday morning. So y'all set your alarm. Okay. One thing that I want to post this one for y'all. Christy, what a wonderful example of others as a single mom, new car driver. Look at this, single mom, new car driver, new director, that they can do it no matter what. Congratulations. I can't wait to meet you, Christy. Oh my goodness. How exciting. All right, you guys, we have 4 winners tonight. Yes, I'm so excited. Look at all these girls, 73 on live tonight. All right, our first winner is Donna Guffey. Woo! Okay, I'm going to tell y'all how you claim your prize in a minute. Donna Guffey, and you have to do it tonight when you hop off. You only have till midnight to claim your prize. If you don't claim your prize tonight, I'm assuming you don't want it. You got plenty of prizes and you don't want it. Okay, so Donna Guffey. Number 2 winner is Kelsey Turner as a veteran. Look at this comment right here. Look at this right here. As a veteran, I pray I can reach the women who don't get the glam of the feeling of being a woman because of deployment. I want to help them feel beautiful again. What? You guys, what? That's what we get to do? We get to empower women and make them feel amazing and offer them the world. We get to offer them the most beautiful gift of Mary Kay. Chase Powell taught me that the product changes the outside, the business changes the inside. What a life. Donna Guffey. Number 2, Kelsey Turner. Number 3, Megan Shaw. Megan, what? Congratulations. How exciting for you. And our last winner tonight is Christy Norris. Christy Norris. Okay, here's how you claim your prize. Okay. If you're one of those 4 girls, you're going to go to Holly. My name is HOLLI, hollylow.com. Okay. hollylow.com/prizes. Okay. Holly, I put it in the chat, hollylow.com/prizes, and tell me what happened. How'd you win your prize? I need your address, all the things, right? So hollylow.com/prizes, go in, register for your prize, and we'll get that handled and sent out to you. So excited to celebrate you guys. I can't wait to see y'all back next week right here for Happy Hump Day with Holly Low. So I hope you are willing to step out, take a risk, double down, friends, because this is our exceedingly and abundantly more 2024 underway. You guys, we're in the middle of a move of God, and I'm so excited, so incredibly excited to see you slay your greatest year ever. Congratulations. I will see you guys back here next week, ready for round 2 and week 2. Be a risk taker and stepping up to be a boss babe. Congratulations. Love you guys big. Have an awesome night. Bye.